So I just received my latest electric and heat bill, and it's about 21% cheaper than last month and about 17% cheaper than the same month last year. And I'm pretty sure this has something to do with it. This is something I saw on the internet, but talks about insulating the ductwork, HVAC ductwork in your basement. And the theory is that these sheet metal pipes, kind of see an example here, they conduct heat and cold really well, and so as the air is traveling through these pipes, the metal heats up or cools down depending on whether you have heat or AC going through these, and that will be lost, that energy will be lost into your basement. And so I've done this, and I think it's helped quite a bit. And sort of an after effect that I wasn't quite expecting is it also helps get the third floor, the top floor, cooler faster, and keeps the house more balanced because less cold air is escaping into the basement where it's already cold anyway, because it's halfway underground, and plus cold air sinks, hot air rises. So this took about the better part of a weekend, and I would say total you can look to spend $100 to $150, but I think it's well worth it. I'm going to make that up in less than 2 months if the savings keep up. So just kind of give you a quick idea of what you want to do. These are poly something sheets. I forgot what they're called, but they come in 4x8 sheets, half-inch thick. You can find them at Lowe's, Home Depot, usually in the building materials section and or the insulation section. There's a foil backing, and the other side does not have foil, but you'll see these. These are pretty common. They're about $12 to $13 per sheet. I think I spent or used maybe 2.5 sheets to get the whole trunk done. So the blower's down here, and then you have your heating coils and your cooling coils here. You don't have to worry about insulating this part, but certainly start here where you can really feel the cold when your AC is running. This was actually sweating because it was so cold. So you want to put these sheets up against anywhere you have exposed metal in the main trunk, okay, in the supply line. And then you want to use this foil duct tape, not the duct tape you're probably thinking of. That duct tape's good for everything except ductwork. This is actually aluminized tape, and it's very good. It sticks very well, and it lasts a really long time. Use that to seal the edges. And you can see, cut around any registers you might have. I cut around it, but then I covered this one up with cardboard because it was still escaping air. But I will remove this cardboard in the winter time, so I can get some heat down here. So that's what you do for the main trunk. Just FYI, you don't have to worry about the return ducts, okay? So this is where the air is being sucked from the top floor and the second floor back into the HVAC system. You don't have to worry about that. That never gets cold enough or hot enough. You're not going to be losing a lot of energy from that. So that's for your main trunk. Now then you also have your transition lines. And the first thing I would say do with your transition lines, perhaps the most important, is get that aluminized or foil tape, and anywhere that two pieces of metal join together, including these elbows, tape around those joints, because while it may not seem that there's a lot of air escaping, there is some. And then in the basement, I probably have 100 or more of these types of connections, so cumulatively those will add up. So definitely use that foil around all the joints, anywhere that those two pieces of metal join together. And you actually want to do the same on your main trunk. If you have any areas that join together, put a nice strip of tape to help keep those insulated. And the next thing is you want to get some, this is the cheapest insulation that Home Depot had. This is a R13. You can see it says R13 there. 15 inches wide, 3 inches deep. I think it's a roll of maybe 40 feet or so for 12 bucks. And did take quite a few rolls to do the basement. I'm still not quite finished, but probably used maybe 5 or 6 rolls. But you want to put one section above the pipe, so against the wood there, and then put another one underneath. And you're going to run that the entire length from where it connects to the trunk. You can see here all the way to where it joins either a register or where the tube that will go to the top floor, once it goes into the subfloor, that's where you want to insulate it there. So, and what you can do, it's tempting, and you can go ahead and staple the edges of the insulation to the wood. That's fine. However, that paper on the insulation is going to kind of become brittle over time, and so it will probably fall. And so what I've done here is just get some really good nylon string, and then you just zigzag it with staples. Just zigzag it all the way across, and that'll keep that up for years. So even if it does sag, that string's taut enough, it's not going to fall down. And the last thing I'll show you here, so you can use that those bats for places where those pipes run flush to the ceiling, right? But what do you do with these transition pipes that actually come below the rafters? And you could use the same insulation. The problem is, if you're ever going to finish your basement, or if your basement's already finished, you'll probably have a drop ceiling. And the drop ceiling will come up pretty close to the pipe. And so if you have that insulation there, it might become an issue and get in the way of your ceiling. So also in the insulation section at Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever, you'll find these rolls of it's like a aluminum or foil coated bubble wrap, and they're kind of pricey. I think one roll is like 16 bucks, but that one roll, and I've still got some left, did all of the transitions that come below the floor line, the ceiling line. But you want to wrap those up, and then again use that aluminized or foil tape to seal those joints. And then you'll see it goes up. Once I get flush, then I just use the insulation, the fiberglass insulation. And that seems to have helped quite a bit. One caution, so here's my hot water heater. This is the exhaust line for the hot water heater. You can see it comes up here and joins with the exhaust line of the furnace. This gets really hot, okay? So you don't want to put that fiberglass insulation, and I'm even skeptical about using that bubble wrap stuff either, too close to these pipes. So you can see here, I didn't use any insulation on this particular trunk, or this branch, if you will. I did seal it, all the joints, with that tape. That tape won't catch on fire, so you're fine. But I would just be careful anytime you have, you don't want insulation getting too close to your exhaust there, just for risk of potential fire or whatever. But otherwise, anywhere else, you can insulate those pipes. And so I've definitely noticed the air is much colder than it was before. When it gets to the top floor, it just feels so much colder. I was really surprised. I was kind of skeptical about this. I've seen varying opinions on the internet, but I thought it was worth weekends worth of work, and 150 bucks or so. So anyway, I would recommend give this a shot if you have issues with balancing air in your home. And this can apply both to the basement but also the attic. A lot of older homes will have these systems in the attic. That's even worse because your attic's going to get a lot more hot. All that hot air from the roof is going to seep down as your attic, and that will really zap away your heat or your cold air depending on the time of year. So